Everybody still has some energy to listen to the final presentation, I hope. We are very pleased to be here. We are not necessarily only representing ourselves, but we represent also the community of designers, and this is also a call to action to all of you. We have been very happy to form this Ornamo Responsibility Circle at Ornamo, of course, and we're here to tell you a little bit about the Responsible Design Manifesto. And the title, Design as the World Needs, is very much related to what we just heard from the amazing Zeynep. So let's dive into it.
Let's do that. Maybe not needing introductions because we just did that, but my name is Angelos Arnis. I've been also an Ornamo member and currently organizing the activities of the Ornamo Responsibility Circle with Milja. And I'm a designer. I'm also a father. I'm climate anxious. I'm a person that sort of has career crisis every day because I want to do something meaningful, but I cannot escape the velocity of efficiency and productivity. And so I'm here advocating to like-minded, hopefully people and people who identify with the same things as me.
And thank you for Jukka's great presentation already about who we are. So I have a long history in a very sort of commercial design and marketing and selling. So right now I'm taking kind of a step back and reviewing what it is that I want to align my sort of profession with in the future. But I'm at heart a product designer. And right now I'm kind of thinking that where do I want to put those skills in the future? And one of the things that I've been very excited to do is this responsibility circle. So we are both volunteering to do this, and we're very happy to represent Ornamo. And I'll tell you a little bit about Ornamo. At least perhaps the Finnish design community already knows a lot about it, but perhaps we have some international listeners, so a little brief presentation about Ornamo. So Ornamo is our community. It is a designer's voice and network, support network. They're the biggest community of designers in Europe with around 3,000 members. And we're talking about designers from all different walks of and fields of design. So there are architectures, service designers, there can be UI UX designers, product designers, many different kinds. We've been very lucky to form this interest group underneath the umbrella of Ornamo. So 2023, a colleague of mine, Anna Kokki, a designer, had this idea, or more like a need, to create some type of community. And being a member of Ornamo, she decided that, hey, let's do this interest group together. So she talked among her own colleagues and peers and requested some more people to join in, and I was raising my hand excitedly that this is exactly what we need. We need a community, we need a place to share ideas, to vent sometimes, we need support from each other, we need to share knowledge. None of this transition that we've been talking about today can happen in silos alone behind the desks that we're used to working. So we need a community, we need to share. Some of us, you can see in the picture here, Anna, I have to mention specifically as the founder, so in black and white shirt there. We're around 50 members currently. We invite anyone who is a member of Ornamo to join in. We also do these more sort of public events as well, so you're welcome to those even if you're not a member. And we're a peer group, we're volunteers. We do this because we're climate anxious. Maybe we need support, maybe we want to share knowledge. We have case studies, informal get-togethers, and the design manifesto that we are here to present to you today and talk about. I borrowed this slide from our Responsible Design Manifesto launch event from the head of the board, Katja Soini. She was very eloquently talking about Ornamo's role and history in shaping the identity of the Finnish design world. So Ornamo was already established 1911, that is before Finland's independence. So it has a long history of being there for the designers, but also being there for the communities and the Finnish national identity, same as Alvar Aalto, which is a very sort of huge influence as we can tell. And it's been such a privilege now for the past couple of days to really sort of immerse ourselves in this Alvar Aalto way of thinking, and I feel super inspired by all of that. As you can see from these sort of markers on the timeline, there's been these revolutionary points in the history before. We have had, in the 50s, after the war, there was a need to rebuild, to reinvent what we are, who we are, how we live, what do we consume. And Ornamo has been there in the background amongst all these awesome designers that we now get to look up to and feel inspired by. Then there was, from Kaisu's amazing presentation, this whole digitalization and the birth of Nokia and all of that kind of shaped who we are and how we are consuming today. Right now, the big unknown is what we are here for. We need to reinvent ourselves again. We need to reinvent ourselves as consumers, as mothers, as designers. We need to think of new ways how we're going to go about doing this, because this isn't working anymore, what we're used to. So we're very excited to talk about the Design Manifesto that is a call to action for all of us to take part in this transition, this change. And we come from it from this manifesto point of view. And Zeynep here was also sort of inviting everyone to this paradigm shift. So, yeah, I'll hand over the mic to my friends to introduce it.
Yes. So I'll start with a story. In 1972, a team of young MIT scientists made a prediction that would shake the foundations of economic thinking. They warned that unlimited growth on a finite planet would lead to societal collapse by the mid-21st century. Led by Dana Meadows, a brilliant systems thinker, the team combined cutting-edge technology and modeling with environmental science, and they created the first global sustainability study of its kind. The groundbreaking work became The Limits to Growth, a book that sold over 30 million copies and pretty much helped launch the environmental movement as we know it today. Using this revolutionary approach called systems dynamics and MIT's most advanced computers at the time, they created World 3, which was a model that simulated global interactions between population, industrialization, pollution, food production, and resource depletion. And the response? Well, they were told essentially that they should leave the economy to the adults. And spoiler alert, we know that didn't go that well. So despite this fierce opposition from economists and industry, the central message still stays present today. We know that humanity must transition from pursuing unlimited growth to creating prosperity for the planet, the people, and everyone. And for example, I will give you a few examples here, like global water demand is projected to exceed supply by 40% in 2030. Resource depletion driven by overconsumption and population growth and inadequate management is closely mirroring the model's prediction at the time in 1970s. And in 2024, 94% of the EU urban population was exposed to fine particulate matter above the World Health Organization guideline levels. So today, Dana's vision of a sustainable future remains more relevant than ever. And her work reminds us that the future is not predetermined specifically, and we can still choose toward a path of responsible stewardship even in the midst of polycrisis. And how many of you have heard of the term polycrisis? The polycrisis refers to the simultaneous occurrence of an interaction of multiple interconnected crises across various domains. It is creating a complex web of intertwined challenges. So let's draw a bit of a picture so that you can understand it in your head if you have not heard of this term before. A pandemic strikes while climate change worsens. While we try to recover from the pandemic, economic recession happens during a period of geopolitical turmoil. Food shortages occur alongside energy crisis. Climate emergency causes droughts, leading to more food shortages. Food shortages cause political unrest. Political unrest makes it harder to address climate change. And it appears now more than ever that we need to transform how we think, not about design, but about business and how design is situated inside things that we do. And that's why we were talking about kind of like, what do we need to do as designers in our circle, for example. Just as Dana and her team showed us the way with their work, we now ask to redefine how to design in an age of a planetary emergency. We need a shift in how we view our role as designers. I will quote from the slide: "Responsible design is an ethical approach that harnesses design's transformative power to benefit the planet, society, and future generations while actively preventing harm, ensuring that outcomes are not only functional, but also regenerative and equitable across all scales of impact." You can read more about ethical design on Ornamo's ethical guidelines. It's on the website, and you can find it very easily. When we understand that 80% of a product's ecological footprint is determined at the design stage, we realize that we're not only creators anymore, but we are potential safeguards of the future. This kind of responsible design moves us beyond the traditional metrics of success towards a practice that maybe recognizes that our ability to shape beyond products and services is very crucial. So we're going to be showing you a few principles of design, because at the moment we feel that design stands at this critical juncture where either we keep fueling the challenges that are happening around us, or we just have to do something towards regeneration. And our vision deliberately reaches beyond just the design bubble. While we address designers at every stage and the need to create kind of like, positive change, we also understand that we need organizations to follow through. We need policymakers to understand those needs. And we need to move towards the different kind of frameworks that Zeni was also talking about. We need different thinking towards economy and towards funding and towards pretty much everything. And at the heart of the responsible design lies this commitment to carefully crafted principles that our team voluntarily joined, and they worked on those. We established them as a North Star, so kind of like, it's not like a solution that you get it and you become a responsible designer. It's more of a guidance for us to sort of ground us into the specific moment. And of course, as we move on, we keep evolving it as well. One of our first principles is that we reimagine. This is a big one in my head because the time has come to radically rethink the creative process overall and move beyond towards meeting immediate needs to nurturing, thriving for the planet, but also the society. And we need to embed regeneration in our daily practice, creating systems that give more than they take. This reimagining has to push us past the conventional sustainability towards restoration. The next one is that we steward. As designers, we need to embrace the role as responsible makers, infusing every project with care and foresight. Our stewardship means taking responsibility not just for immediate outcomes, but for long-term impacts that ripple to the next generations. We cultivate like skilled gardeners. We must nurture ideas that grow into regenerative solutions. Our practice must evolve carefully, tending to the health of both social and ecological systems, fostering resilient communities that can thrive in changing times. And we should understand that meaningful growth requires patience, care, and deep connection to the systems that we are part of. And we educate. Knowledge shared is knowledge multiplied. Through education, we have to build collective wisdom that inspire future generations to embrace responsible design themselves. We must strive to create tools and share insights that empower others to join the movement towards more regenerative futures. We demand the time for half measures is unfortunately long before us. We have to demand systemic change, to push for bold policy action and real corporate responsibility. Our call for circular economy, regenerative practices is not just a request, it's a requirement for a livable future. And of course, lastly, we act. Words must become action. We commit to moving decisively, understanding in the meantime that the contrast that sometimes even the most responsible thing to do is to not even design something. Our principles focus on creating actionable, positive change in the world, and we lead by example. Responsible design isn't just possible, but it's essential.
Thank you, Angelos. So those were the 6 principles, and we invite you to read more about the manifesto. It is from us, by us, to all of us. We wanted to sort of showcase a couple of examples where brands are doing something a little bit differently. So we wanted to show you what it could mean and what kind of brands are out there that are sort of reimagining things in a little bit different way. So the first one is Swapfiets. I wonder if I'm pronouncing that right, but you can see it written. So it's a company that offers a product as a service. They are a Dutch company, and you can get a membership from them for a fixed monthly fee. You can get a bike. They've got e-bikes, they've got conventional bikes. And if anything happens to the bike, they will fix it. If they cannot fix it, they will replace it. And then they will fix the bike later and give it to somebody else with the membership. The bikes are produced in Europe. They're made out of quality parts, and it makes sense for the company that has this kind of business model to ensure that the bikes are of high quality. So we think that this is one of those good examples of how you can take this new way, new business model, and turn it into some new way of doing things. And not only is this a good business model, but it's also a good example of how we could transport ourselves. Cycling is a very healthy way of transporting humans. Of course, there's public transportation, but that is very passive. This is a very active mode of transportation. So as IPCC is also praising, we should all be maybe cycling a little bit more. It's a B Corp certified company, so they're trying their best to do things in a little bit different way, in a better way. Another example in this crisis that we are at, during these times of increasing political uncertainty, it is really good to have alternative options for the giant technology companies that are running for profit. So one option could be a German Ecosia. It is a free-to-use search engine, and they are planting trees to mitigate the climate change and biodiversity crisis. They operate as a not-for-profit company, and their legal structure is basically preventing them from making the kind of decisions that harm people and planet. So they have really taken a very sort of transparent and open business model, and when you browse, you don't normally very much think about the effects of browsing. But actually, we do that all the time. I can see some of you skimming your phones. So we are browsing constantly, but are we really thinking about the effects of what that has towards the climate? So maybe reconsider what kind of browsers you are using. And the age of AI, I would love to see this kind of business model that is not for profit also be adopted in those kinds of realms, that we aren't just, creating services for profit by the giant technology companies, but maybe some alternative ones as well. Then we come closer to home. This is a company called FabBatch. It's a Finnish-based company. Maybe some of you know it by the name of a vaatelaastari. They are making repairing garments very easy with their stick-on solution. They're trying to prolong the lifetime of garments. Textile industry, as we know, is a heavy pollution and energy and water-consuming industry. So if we can use what we have for longer periods of time by repairing them, that makes a lot of sense. I can testify they work. I have had plenty of my kids' pants fixed with these. They work, they're genius and really easy to use. So for somebody who doesn't want to use a needle and sew a patch on top, then you can just peel the sticker off, put it on the broken bit of the textile, rub it on, and you're good to go. I think this is a brilliant example of how we should be also normalizing this kind of action of repairing. It's not only about the FabBatch itself, but it's about this idea that it's okay. You have a broken piece of clothing, but that's okay. You fixed it. That's fine. Moving on. We should be normalizing not always having to buy something new because something is broken. So they also do funny prints, and you can really sort of like celebrate something broken. We are, of course, here in Alvar Aalto, beautiful building, invited by Alvar Aalto Foundation. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my sort of sentiment towards this buying new. So since the Industrial Revolution, we have had products more and more produced in masses, always available. So we have been bombarded with marketing, nowadays social media, to create these needs that we didn't really have, but now we have. So we want to buy something new all the time. And from that, maybe we have now evolved into thinking that, okay, but I still want to sort of like nurture that need. I still want to buy something new, but perhaps I will buy something sustainable. That's okay, right? So I'll just go to flea markets, or maybe I'll buy it from, a better brand that does something out of better materials, maybe locally. That's all really good as well. But how can we move forward and beyond that? That is, I think, a big question. I think what we should be looking at is relearning those skills of repairs. If we look at this beautiful chair, it's an Artec chair. If something breaks in it, that's okay, we can fix it. If there's anything, patina that comes on the wooden parts, that's also okay. It's okay to allow it to maybe change a little bit the shade of the wood and change the color. That's okay, because people will still appreciate it for a beautiful piece of furniture and they want to hold on to it. And if I get bored with it, well, then I can just resell it to somebody else. The value of the design hasn't, gone anywhere. So instead of buying something new and constantly filling our houses, perhaps we should be looking at what it is that we already have. How can I use it again? How can I not buy something? And then us as designers, how can we design better systems? How can we design better services where we are not only offering something new, something that's newly produced? How can we not produce something? That's the big question, I think, for us designers to crack. also, I think in this like digital age where we are buying things online and very fast, I think it's a good to take a step back as a digital designer and think that how can I make this buying process actually a little bit slower? We have all these one-click solutions available that it's super easy. Just the snap of a finger, you've purchased something new and it's at your doorstep tomorrow. We need to unlearn that. And we need to sort of re-engage with what it is that is important to us. So a lot of the things that Zeynep was talking about really sort of touches my heart, because I think that we have forgotten what it is that is good life. It's not about the things around us. That's of course nice as well, especially if it's something beautiful. But isn't it really so that the happiness comes from the people and the connections and the communities around us? So I would love for us designers to kind of start to relearn how to design for the communities that surround us, for the loved ones. We can do this together. We need to be evolving together. There is a lot of resources available. We are here also to inspire, not only to be, a looming doomsday presenters. So it's also something we wanted to give tangible examples of how we can do things differently and how we can do this together. So the picture you are seeing on the screen is from Nicole Kellner. She's put together this Notion website where you can find loads of information and resources if you are interested in working for climate.
Yeah, so the path forward requires courage to demand systemic change, wisdom to cultivate solutions that give more than they take, and the conviction to act decisively, sometimes by choosing to not even create at all. And this is the imperative, to transform our practice from one that serves immediate needs to one that safeguards the condition of life itself to thrive across different generations.
And we acknowledge, am I losing my mic? Yeah. So we acknowledge that one designer alone might not be able to shift the whole world, but we shouldn't feel discouraged by that. There is power in numbers, and we can work together. We understand all too well that sometimes you just need to take on a job that doesn't necessarily align with your morals just to pay your bills and take care of your family. So we shouldn't be too hard on ourselves, but we can strive to make a difference wherever we work. So sometimes all it takes is for a designer to propose a different idea to start the change within the company that you work for. So do what you can with the resources that you have and find a community to build up your strengths. And we welcome you, everyone, to take the QR code with your phones, be part of the future. So
you can read the manifesto. You can read the too long didn't read version if you would like. You can read the long version if you would like. But you can also be part as a person that agrees with it. So you can put your name, or you can also stay anonymous if you would like, and be part of it by sharing your presence, let's say, with the rest of the people there. We currently have quite a lot of designers from Finland, but also from Europe in general, and the list is growing as we move on. So yeah, we would like to thank you all for today and enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angelos and Milja. That was a great way to end the program here today. It was a great presentation, and you raised important topics, and also our kind of daily habits and their effects, whether they be browsing or buying. And thank you also for sharing the design manifesto. I like that you said that sometimes it's better not to design at all. That just makes me wonder, what if all the designers in the world would say no for one day to designing new? Say no. What would happen? That's an interesting thought. You said that there is strength in numbers. So if all designers unite, yeah, it could have an impact. But I have a very practical question. For the design manifesto, what are the next steps for the manifesto? You said that it's by you for all of us, and that's fantastic. But how could we break the design bubble that you also mentioned? How can we reach all the different levels and the circles to make the bigger change with these step manifestos? How could you do that, and what are your steps on it?
Excellent question. And this is actually something that we could have already here say. So when you are signing the manifesto, which I hope that a lot of you are, you will get an invitation to workshop together with us so that we can continue building this. So this is a starting point. This is, it was written by a bigger group than just the two of us. Like I said, we have around 50 members in the ORC, but we want to make it bigger and invite a lot of you guys to help us out. This isn't the only manifesto also in the world, so in regards to design. So I think it's important to expand and work together and collaborate. You were mentioning in the beginning also another manifesto out there. So I think that right now what we are doing is we're working on making this workshop happen in September. Currently is the plan. And then we'll try to invite everybody's feedback and then grow it together. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, well, again, what you also said, that it started as a collaborative effort in a smaller group, but the main idea was to not just create something and then sign it off and forget it, but make it as a living document, for example. So keep evolving it with people. So this is our own idea. If some people do not agree with it, they have to challenge it and they have to come on and tell us what to do in order to do it better.
Yep.
Sounds very good. Thank you, Milja and Angelos.
Thank you very much.
I did not think that.